Photographers Irving and Ruth Olson have captured images from around the world. Founder of Olson Electronics, Mr. Olson, who turns 96 this year, talks about his unique way of doing business and the secret to his longevity.
Well, people, here's one Ruth took. Took this. Oh, this is nice.
That's another one I took.
Irving and Ruth Olson have many stories to tell. Some call him an American original, from a radio repair person to an electronics mogul, world traveler, photographer, and philanthropist. Nothing stops the Olsons' endless quest for life, not even their age. Here are their stories.
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and my mother said to me one day, "We're going to see Aunt Elsie." I said, "Oh, have a good time, Mother." She said, no, you're coming too." I said, "No, I have a date."
Ruth Bogan then canceled her date. Later that night at the party with her mother, she met Irving. They got married in 1940, 65 years ago.
I think I had to take kindergarten twice. They had complicated things like, "Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack."
Irving Olson recalls his rather tough schooling.
Anyway, I managed to get through school by going to summer school most of the summers. Finally, with much trouble, I got out of high school and I enrolled in a university. I'm now going to be the first one of the Olson family that attended a university. And that's when my trouble started. I didn't get along with the teachers. I was one of the only students that had a car, and I would drive up and park in the teacher's parking lot. That made them angry. So it reflected in my grades. All these things worked against me. That's why I was so glad to get out of school. I want to be a radio man, but I didn't know anything about radio. There were no radio schools at that time, so I learned by experimenting with radio parts. And someone next door saw me doing this, and he said, "Oh, you know all about radio. My radio stopped working." He had an old Crosley at that time. He says, "Can you fix this?" And I always learned, never say no or never say I don't know. Always say yes, no matter what the question is. And I never saw the inside of one before, but I knew I could fix it if I would just take out every single part and test each one separately. So I took out every part, one at a time, checked it, found the bad one, put the new one in, collected $2 for 3 days' work. And in his opinion, I was a genius, so he started sending me work. But the next time I got a Crosley like that, I fixed it in 10 minutes, and I still got $2.
That was the beginning of Olson Electronics, the nation's first mail-order radio parts business, eventually growing to 88 stores nationwide. At the age of 50, Olson made an important decision.
When I was a little kid, I said, let's see, a person lives to about 100. So I think what I'll do is I'll work from 0 to 50, and I'll loaf from 50 to 100. Consequently, on my 50th birthday, exactly 5 o'clock, laid down my pen, walked out. I remember that's the only day in my life I watched the clock for the last 10 minutes. I watched it. As soon as it was 5 o'clock, put my pencil down, went home, and the next day they delivered my personal things from the office, and I was out of work, and that makes 43 years since I've lifted a finger. But it's not monotonous. Living with Ruth makes it so interesting, it's so great, so simple. This is the bug I found this morning that I was telling you about.
Irving sleeps for 4 hours a day. The rest of the day, he creates. Among his numerous hobbies and projects, photography got him the most awards and recognition.
Oh, he had been in photography when he was a child. He took his mother's soup bowl for the chemicals. She never found out why the soup didn't taste as right.
It's an exacting science. It's an interesting hobby. It's precise. It's like making these engines and locomotives I make. It has to be exact. That's why I take pictures of little insects now and seeing how perfect I can get them. That must be the reason. Though I never thought of it at the time. I just enjoy doing that. This fellow has eyeballs like...
Oh, look at those. Aren't those interesting?
Yeah.
Ruth is also an accomplished photographer. Both Olsons have taken pictures in 150 different countries. They have both had many photography exhibits. They always donate all the sales proceeds from their exhibits.
There's a hospital in Akron called SUMA. Started 20 years ago. They wanted to know if we could give them some pictures to hang in the halls. So we gave them a few pictures. And it was such a success, they wanted more. So I gave them 30 or 40 more, all framed, and now they have 180 pictures hanging in this hospital. And the other hospitals didn't want to feel left out, so we gave the others, they have a couple of dozen each hanging. Many times people call us, you don't know us, but my name is so-and-so. I went to see my sick mother-in-law the other day, and I saw your pictures in the hall. It made me feel so much better when I saw those pictures. It sort of inspired me. We got so many of these calls. It was extremely interesting. It's gratifying to know that the pictures do some good and there's no money involved.
The secret to their longevity and happiness?
I'm actually 92 and a half today. Here's the secret. It's divided into 3 parts. It's an equation.
You can't put this in the paper.
50% is the right spouse. If you have the right spouse, you're halfway there. 45% is everything in moderation. For me, that's very easy because I'm a moderate person. I just eat my 3 simple meals a day, and I buy a few cameras and a few lenses, and I have everything I need. Now, the last 5% is critical. Don't take any baloney from anyone. Because if you do, you're sunk. And most people listen to what people say and they take it to heart. But I have a special kind of head with special kind of ears. You can talk to me, and if I don't want to remember it, I keep the passages open from one ear to the other, and it goes right straight through, and it's not recorded at all. And then I'm home free. That's the secret. So you want to be 92 and a half or 93? Listen to me.
Email us.